In the world of martial arts cinema, spectacular kicks are usually part of the choreography, visually stunning moments for us, the fans. However, there are times when the line between fiction and reality blurs, and some actors have left their co-stars with real, painful, and sometimes irreversible injuries. One of the most memorable cases was that of Van Damme, when a scene that seemed routine ended in tragedy in 1989 during the filming of Cyborg. A wrong move caused his co-star to lose vision in his left eye. At that time, Jean-Claude Van Damme was at the peak of his career. During filming, Van Damme and stuntman Jackson Pinckney were performing a choreographed fight using prop knives. The scene required Van Damme to disarm him with a kick and then simulate slashing his throat. However, the rubber knife accidentally struck Pinckney's left eye, causing a severe injury and the permanent loss of vision in that eye. It's important to mention that Pinckney was no novice. He was a soldier, bodybuilder, and professional stunt performer. Yet despite his experience, the blow cost him the sight in one eye, leading to his discharge from the army and a subsequent lawsuit against Van Damme. Van Damme tried to defend himself, claiming it had been a simple accident during choreography. However, the judge allowed the case to move forward. Testimonies from the crew turned the tide against him.
I never meant to hurt anybody in my entire life.
Blaise Leung, the fight choreographer, stated that Van Damme pushed for realism to the point of not holding back his strikes. Elizabeth Featherston, from casting, said his reputation for never pulling his punches was widely known. And Charles Allen, the on-set karate instructor, confirmed that Van Damme ignored repeated warnings about excessive contact, determined to make his movie no matter the risk to others. Their statement supported the version that the incident wasn't just a minor accident, but the result of Van Damme's reckless obsession with achieving more intense, realistic action. In the end, the court ruled in favor of Jackson, granting him around $487,000 in compensation. The verdict left a mark that followed Van Damme like a shadow, a reminder that perfection often walks a fine line between spectacle and pain. When dedication turns to obsession, the scars go far beyond the set. They live in those who pay the price. But fate had one more lesson to teach. If Van Damme's strike brought blindness, the next case shows how a single kick, fast as lightning, almost erased a legend's light. No name echoes as powerfully in the pantheon of martial arts as that of Bruce Lee. A visionary, a martial artist whose speed was so legendary that the cameras of his time could barely capture it. In 1973, during the filming of his masterpiece Enter the Dragon, Lee sought authenticity in every frame. His commitment to realism was absolute, almost obsessive. In a crucial scene, Lee was to face Bob Wall, a formidable martial artist and an actor willing to endure anything for the sake of truth on screen. The choreography called for a front kick, a controlled move meant to land close, to simulate impact. But Bruce Lee did not understand the word simulate when it came to his art. Lee's leg extended with the precision of a scalpel, the force of a hammer, and the speed of lightning. Bob Wall, a tower of muscle and discipline, couldn't react in time. It was a dry, crushing kick, the kind that knocks the air out of your lungs. Wall took the full hit, but like a true warrior, his professionalism allowed him to finish the scene. This incident stands as a testament to the unmatched power of Bruce Lee, a man who lived and breathed martial arts, demanding absolute truth from himself and everyone around him, even if that truth meant pain. But the pursuit of authenticity in martial arts cinema didn't end with Bruce Lee. Decades later, the legacy of the real kick would resurface in modern action films when a man known as Boyka would face a relentless opponent in a sequence that would test the very limits of pain and endurance. We jump to 2010 into the dark and gritty world of Undisputed 3. Here, the fights aren't just spectacular, they're visceral, brutal, so real you can almost feel the sweat and blood. Scott Adkins, as Yuri Boyka, the most complete fighter in the world,
I'm the most complete fighter in the world,
was already an icon. But his on-screen rival, Marco Zaror, playing Dolor, was no less formidable, a true Chilean martial artist with an imposing presence on set. The film demanded an epic final showdown, a battle of titans, and amid the whirlwind of kicks and punches, the inevitable happened. In one of the most crucial takes of Undisputed 3, Scott Adkins unleashed a spinning kick, fluid, powerful, and unmistakably Boyka. But this time, control slipped, the distance misjudged, and Adkins struck with the force of a speeding train right into Marco Zaror's body. It wasn't a staged hit, it was a hammer blow. Zaror felt it deep in his soul, but Zaror wasn't the only one taking real hits. During those intense fight scenes, both men absorbed brutal impacts. Scott Adkins himself endured several solid punches and precise kicks that pushed every exchange to the limit. The set fell into a tense silence, broken only by the actors' heavy breathing. Despite the pain, both continued, driven by pure professionalism and passion. In later interviews, Adkins and Zaror confirmed that many of the hits were real. The physical intensity danced on the edge of serious injury. Zaror described Adkins' kick as incredibly strong, acknowledging the raw power behind that moment. This wasn't just a choreographed fight. It was a hard-hitting clash between warriors who truly felt the weight of their blows. Boyka and Dolor didn't just act, they fought with everything they had. And if Scott Adkins' kick was enough to nearly drop a colossus like Marco Zaror, imagine the impact of an uncontrolled strike from a master like Michael Jai White, a human combat machine. We're talking about a true titan of martial arts, a man with black belts in multiple disciplines, renowned for his flawless technique and his to choreograph fights with surgical precision. In Blood and Bone, White embodied Isaiah Bone, a silent warrior whose fights were poems of controlled violence. But even the most disciplined masters can falter, and the line between control and chaos can be as thin as a katana's edge. During the filming of one of the movie's most intense fight sequences, White faced Matt Mullins, another skilled martial artist and an actor known for his acrobatic precision. The scene called for a sidekick from White, one that, according to the script, was supposed to barely graze Mullins, simulating impact. But in the heat of the moment, something went wrong. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe the power was just too much. White's leg extended a little farther than intended, or Mullins moved a fraction too close. The result, a direct, full-force impact carrying the full power of Michael Jai White. It wasn't a near miss, it was a collision. The kind of kick you feel all the way to your teeth. Mullins later confirmed it. The hit was real, brutally real. Like a true warrior, he admitted in interviews that White's kick was so powerful, it took him a while to recover. Luckily, there were no broken bones or permanent injuries, but the pain, the shock, the sudden realization of a real strike in a controlled environment, those sensations stayed with him. This incident not only showcases Michael Jai White's raw power, but also reveals the vulnerability of those who dare to simulate combat at the highest level. When physical perfection reaches that magnitude, there is no room for error. And if Michael Jai White's power could leave a rival staggering, imagine the precision of a master like Donnie Yen, a man whose speed and technique are so lethal that even in fiction, his kicks seem to cross the screen itself, leaving his opponents completely stunned. Now we turn to the man who has defined modern kung fu in cinema. Known for his blinding speed, flawless technique, and ability to inject realism into every movement, Yen is an unstoppable force. In Flashpoint, a film that redefined the standard for fight choreography, Yen faced Colin Cho, another martial arts master, in an epic showdown, pure poetry in motion and violence. The film's climax demanded a brutal confrontation, a deadly dance where every strike mattered. During the intense fight sequence, there was real contact at several moments to heighten authenticity. At one crucial point, Donnie Yen executed a lightning-fast, perfectly aimed kick toward Colin Cho, a move designed to simulate impact, but with a degree of real physical contact that made the scene feel painfully real. Although the choreography was meticulously rehearsed to prevent injuries, Yen's natural speed and power made some of the hits, including that kick, genuinely felt. It shows the sheer power of Donnie Yen, who, even when fully in control, walks a razor-thin line between reality and fiction, a line that, no matter how much you prepare, can easily blur. Colin Cho felt the contact and the intensity of the moment. At times, the atmosphere on set mirrored the tension of an actual fight. Both actors remained completely professional, aware of the fine balance between spectacle and safety. Their commitment to authenticity resulted in one of the most memorable fights in modern martial arts cinema, a perfect balance between genuine contact and precise control. This episode stands as proof of the discipline, skill, and mutual respect that Yen and Cho brought to every scene, showing that true martial arts on film is, above all, a dance between precision, power, and responsibility. These stories remind us of the enormous risks these artists take so that we, the audience, can lose ourselves in the illusion. They are lessons in humility, proof of how fragile the human body is, even in the hands of the greatest masters of martial arts cinema. But if you thought that was intense, wait until you see what happens when on-set conflicts go completely off the rails. Actors who stopped pretending, dropped the script, and literally started fighting their co-stars for real, on camera. No choreography, no filters, just raw tension and bottled-up rage. Watch the next video to discover the most brutal moments when famous actors actually traded real punches during filming, risking the entire production, and sometimes ending up in the hospital. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which of these real fights left you speechless. See you in the next one. It's already on your screen.